The next ones I'm going to have to show you on my Kindle because I don't still have them. And some of them I listen to them in audio because I love audiobooks. And this first one is an audiobook, and it's Jodi Picoult, and it's, can you read it? Small Great Things. And I hope you can see it. And so this book, I had heard about it from one of my girlfriends, and I was like, I want to read it, but you know, I want to read all the books that I own. We'll see when we get to it. So I decided to listen to the audio version because Audra McDonald, if you all know who Audra McDonald is, if you don't, look it up. Amazing, amazing vocalist, amazing actress. The only thing that I have not seen her, I've not seen her perform live. She's been on Broadway and done different plays. I'd love to see her do that. But I've seen her I think 3 times I've seen her perform and sing. Amazing, amazing woman. She did the voice of one of the main characters, and then there's another lady that does the voice for the other character. Long and the short, the story is about a woman who is a nurse, an African-American nurse, and she ends up, it's about her and about this young public defender, female public defender. And the nurse went to go one day treat, she helps with the prenatal care for babies and stuff, and helps people when they're going to have their babies. And she went to go help this baby, and the husband and the wife, who are white supremacists, told her not to touch their child. And I'm not going to tell you any more because I don't want to take anything away from this story, but whoa, is it really good. It makes you think about a lot of things, because you think about being a African-American person in a predominantly white profession, maybe. It talks about white supremacy. The gentleman that does the voice, oh my God, it just like went through me, some of the things that he says, and when he's talking about people of color and the hatred, you know, he really delivered a good performance. It was really phenomenal. I would highly recommend it. It's called Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. What I have to say, and at the end, to read the ending of what she said about how she researched this. Jodi Picoult is not an African-American person. And a lot of times you feel funny reading about books written by somebody that's not that group and writing it. Can they really deliver the experience? I remember reading Memoir of the Geisha, and people were like, oh, it was man. But that book was really good, in my opinion. So there's definitely, there was a little hesitancy when I first started the book, like, well, is she going to deliver? This is the second book that I read from her. I'm extremely impressed with her ability to take information and create a story and a feeling and make you want to do something after you've read the book. The first book that I read from her was called Leaving Time, and I love elephants anyway. I can't give you the whole gist of the whole story off the top of my head, but I know at the end I was just, moved by it. And then I was utterly impressed about the amount of research that went into her books. So some people, really, really get into their research, and she had been wanting to do this type of book for years, but just it wasn't worth the time. So I would recommend this, and if you get a chance to listen to audio, I would give it a shot because it's phenomenal in audio. I don't know. I think it would be great in reading, but it was so powerful listening to the voices deliver the lines in this book. So that was Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult, or she might be Picoult. I don't know if the T is silent. The next one, and I did Nonfiction November. And I chose this as one of my reads for Nonfiction November. And it is called The Hidden Life of Trees, What They Feel, How They Communicate. And this is by Peter Wolben. This is probably blurry. It's kind of blurry to me. It looks kind of like that. But if you just Google up The Hidden Life of Trees. I'm a nature junkie. I love being outside. I love my garden. I love spending pretty much 3 seasons on my deck here. I love plants. And when I was kids, I really, really had an attachment to trees before I really started to get the love for gardening and plants. This book is phenomenal. I listened to the audio again of this one, and the guy that reads it, I forgot who the voice was, voice talent, but he reminds me kind of like the narrator for Winnie the Pooh or something. You know, just something about his voice was really, really good. But just the amazingness of how trees actually can communicate with each other. One thing that really blew my mind is that, for example, a tree, maybe some type of animal or insect is bothering the tree, it's biting at the leaves or something. The tree can emit a scent that will attract something that will deter whatever is bothering the tree, so that it will get it to go away. And then it was talking about how trees communicate to each other and how they will take care of a tree even after it may be cut down or dead. It's fascinating. And then it just makes you really appreciate and think that, you know, how we have to make sure we pay attention and try to do right by the forest and respect it. So that was a great one to read. And that was The Hidden Life of Trees, What They Feel and How They Communicate. And that's by Peter Wolben. Can you see? Can you see? All right. I don't know if you can see if I'm putting it too far away. The next one is another one that I read for Nonfiction November. I think I saw this one in Amazon bookstore, and it is called The Soul of an Octopus, A Surprising Exploration into a World of Consciousness by Cy Montgomery. It's got a picture of a little octopus on it, and it's a National Book Award finalist. Woman who went to even here the New England Aquarium and observed and watched the people that work there and learned about the octopus and how intelligent they are. You know, I think that now when I go to an aquarium, I'm definitely going to take a second look and stay a little while longer when I see an octopus. Just how intelligent they were. She talked about their lifespan. She talked about them in the wild versus them in captivity. You know, they really are very brilliant, and they're escape artists. So she also talked a lot about how people had to really be incredibly ingenious about how they could keep their cages and their tanks closed so that they couldn't get out, because if they escaped and they were out of the water too long, they died. And it was just fascinating to listen to it. What I will say happened in the story is there were parts where I think that it could have been edited a little better, that there was redundancy, that there was repetition of certain things that were said, and I was like, did I hear this before? Because I listened to this in audio as well. I felt like that some of that could have taken out. That could have been a shorter book, and it's still been powerful, but maybe they're trying to meet a number, or they were just trying to hone in and bring a point across again. That would be my only complaint, but I think it was really a very fascinating look at, you know, it seems like if you go down in the sea, you don't really know that much about animals, so it's real fascinating to understand and to see a little peek about their life. And then the last book that I have for you is called Puppies of Iraq by, let me see, I wrote it down here, Bridget, I know I have two more books, Bridget Fidenkley. It's a graphic novel, Puppies of Iraq, and it was a really cool story. It's a true story. It's a girl writing about her experiences growing up there, and it's not a deep, like, you know, big analysis. It was a nice way to get introduced to some of the aspects in the time period that she was there. And for me, which I know very little about Iraq beyond what we hear in the news, it was a nice way to see another glimpse at it. So that was one of my graphic novels that I read over the past few months. And then the last one that I read was, is it there? It is here. Phew. Is Black Panther Volume 2. Now, I'm trying to rush to get these done because the movie's coming out this year, New Year coming out. I can't remember when. I think in January. I could be wrong. But I think volume 2 was much more clearer to me than volume 1. But there were still parts where I was like, huh? And it just could be me. It could be me and, this genre, of trying to get grasp of it. But I definitely, the graphics, I wish I could have had the book still to show you. The illustrations are beautiful. It's very stunning. And just, again, seeing black characters in a comic book to me just blows my mind. So it was really a nice read. I got that out of the library. So I highly recommend that as well. The last thing I wanted to talk about real quick, I'm not finished, was trying to finish before I did this video, but not going to happen. I will probably finish at the end of next week. It's We Were 8 Years in Power, An American Tragedy by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Loving it. I think I have to take my time with this. As you can see, I'm only right about there on it. And I've been kind of reading they're essays, a collection of essays that he's written. So I'm trying to kind of read one and kind of sit with it and think about each one. And they do make you do that. And I want to do that with this book. So I want to finish it before the new year, but I didn't have enough time, and I wanted to make sure I got a video out before then to say hi to everybody. So this is, I'll talk about this in the new year, but definitely so far, where I am, it's really, really good. Really good. And I didn't expect any less from him. So that's it. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I will check in with everybody over the next week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.